Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a little different than what I usually do. It's just going to be kind of like a chit chat type video. And I decided that today I'm going to share my testimony with you guys as I'm taking down these braids. I had these braids in for about 2.5 months, so it's definitely time to take these down. Not that they look bad or anything, but I have graduation in 2 days, and so I have a hair appointment tomorrow for graduation. So it's just time to take these out. And I figure, why not sit here, take them out, and also talk to you guys about my life. So first of all, if you're new to this channel, my name is Kiani. I have a 1-year-old son named Cam, hence the name Key and Cam. He's not here with me today, so I figured it's the perfect opportunity for me to take these down. So that's what I'm gonna do. Don't be alarmed, I'm gonna cut these short so it's easier and faster to take these out. So, I am a Christian. And throughout my life, I've been in a few different denominations. Started off in Baptist. I've gone to a few non-denominational churches as well. Right now, I am in a covenant church. I've been in church all my life. I was christened in the church as a small infant. I was baptized in the church. And I don't remember a time where I wasn't in church. Like, I grew up in the church with my mom and eventually my sister. So I remember being young and being dragged to church. I hope I didn't cut this too short. Oh my God, I hope I didn't cut this too short. I don't know why I decided this was a good idea, knowing that I can't multitask. But hopefully it works out. So yeah, I remember being young, going to church and seeing people like moved by the Spirit and just like lifting their hands up and, you know, crying and just going through things and calling out Jesus' name. And I just remember looking around like, what is the big deal? Who is this Jesus person? Why are people crying? Why are people lifting their hands? Like, I didn't really understand what that was all about. And I just remember like just sitting there and doodling on my mom's papers and just listening. And I didn't have a phone at that time, so basically just being in the environment just because my mom wanted me to be, but I didn't mind it. I was just a little confused at the things that I would see throughout the service. So when I was about 13, we switched churches. We left my childhood church and we joined a new one that had a lot more youth. So I made a lot of friends instantly. And the people that you guys may see on my channel, like Jordan and Basha and Bianca, I've known them from this church for about 10, 11 years now. So it's been such a nice church to just make friends and grow and stuff. And as I spent more time there as a teenager, I started to learn and realize, you know, what was going on. I was starting to find the answers to those questions that I had, like, why are people raising their hands? Who is Jesus? Why are people calling out to God? I think it was a mixture of me, like, taking in the sermons and actually listening, and also going to Sunday school where they kind of broke it down in a way that our age group would understand. Like, they made it really relatable. So I remember there was a point, I think I was probably about 17, maybe 16, and there was an opportunity for young people in the church to get baptized. But they didn't force it on us. They taught us what it would mean to get baptized, and then they gave us the option. So some of us did, some of us didn't. I ended up getting baptized. And I still remember, like, the way they did it is that they would have like the little tub thing where you get baptized, and there was a line going towards it. And so I was probably in like the middle of the line. And I just remember standing there and just kind of reflecting and thinking about what my baptism would mean, and I just kind of imagined me going into the water with all these like sins and all the bad things I had done in my life and all the traumatizing things I had been through, and just having it wash away once I got under, and then as soon as I would come up, I would just be like a brand new me. So that's like what I was imagining as I was online, and I just remember feeling, I can't even explain the feeling. I just felt really moved, like I was fighting tears. And the only reason I didn't let myself cry is because we were literally in front of the whole congregation and I was embarrassed. But I don't know, it just kind of felt like the enemy kind of had like a hold on me, and I knew that the moment that I would get up from that water that I would just be different. I don't really know how to explain it, but yeah, so got baptized when I was like 16, 17, all was well, and I think it was that same year I ended up being sexually assaulted. And I won't go into the details in this video. I'll probably talk about it in a separate video. I'm not sure when, but eventually I'll go into the details because I think I can share some advice and just create some awareness around my personal situation. But anyway, I was sexually assaulted, and that completely knocked me off my feet. Like, I had never been through so much internal pain, like not physically, but just like emotionally and mentally, because I kept it to myself for a very long time. I told a few close people. And so I carried that trauma with me for a while, and since I was still kind of like a new saved Christian, I didn't really think to pray about it. I didn't think to ask people to pray about it. I didn't think to read the Bible or listen to gospel music or anything that would kind of, you know, not cure the pain, but just kind of ease it a little bit. So I just kind of held it in. If any of you have been through something heavy and traumatic, then you know the worst thing you can do is to keep it to yourself. But that's what I did because I didn't know any better. So at this time I was in a long relationship with my high school boyfriend. And when it came to be my 12th year, like after I was finished, I found out that he had been cheating on me with a girl that lived down the street. And I found this out, I'm gonna say like 4 days before my graduation. I was distraught, like it was so bad. But basically, like in high school, there were just multiple really like sad, depressing, heavy, like traumatic things that I had gone through. There's one other major one that I'm not really ready to share yet, but just know like there were a list of things that I went through in high school. So then I went on to college. I went away and went to Pennsylvania, and I was just carrying all this heavy stuff with me, and I was just kind of left to deal with it alone. But I was still kind of grounded. Like I went out there and I didn't go crazy. Like yeah, I was partying, I was drinking, I was hanging out, having fun. But on Sundays, I found me a church. I knew that I wanted to be in church, so I found one. So during my first year of college, there was one break, I think it might have been spring break, and where I came home and I found out that one of my best friends, Choco, was moving down south. And so me, Choco, and our friend Kayla, we all went to a barbecue. It's kind of like our last night out before Choco was moving down south. And so we were all excited, we had a really good night, and I remember leaving the house that night, and my mom was asking me where I was going. I told her what general like area, like what city we were going to, and this happened to be the same exact city where I was assaulted. So my mom, she just gave me this look. She's like, "Are you sure you want to go there? You don't think you're gonna run into him?" And I was like, "No, like I'm in that city all the time and I never run into him, so no, I'm not worried about that." I honestly was not. I wasn't worried. I didn't think there was gonna be a problem. Turns out she was right. So we get to the barbecue, we're hanging out, we're drinking, we're talking. I'm pretty sure our friend Tracy was on the grill. Like, things were just good. We were having a good time. Then all of a sudden, I look up, and in the distance, I see the guy who assaulted me along with a few of his brothers who were also there, but they didn't assault me. At first, like, I was kind of in denial. I'm like, no, that's not him. Like, it just kind of looks like him. And then as he got closer, I realized it really was him, and I started getting like really, really, really bad anxiety, and all these emotions were coming up. Now, I didn't mention this part, but at this point, I had only been in college for a few months, but I really felt like I was moving on. I felt like if I was to see him again, I would be okay. So even though I'm staring at this guy at the barbecue, I'm like, all right, yeah, that's him, but you know, I'll be fine. I'm gonna finish up the night and then go home and figure it out, think about it, like figure out how I feel about it. No, nope, did not happen that way. All of those feelings and anxieties that were coming up just kind of overwhelmed me until I had like a mini panic attack. So tears were just coming and I couldn't control it at all. I couldn't make them stop. And so I texted my mom. I was like, I should have listened. You were right. I don't know what to do. I'm hysterical. And she's like, I'm coming to get you right now. It was like maybe 2 in the morning or something crazy. So yeah, I told my friends. I don't even know if they knew I was assaulted. I don't remember. But I think I ended up telling them that night, like really quickly. I told them what was going on. I told them that the guy was there, and they were like, we'll just move away from him. I think they even said like they would go up to him and press him, but I'm like, I have to go. Like, I can't. I was gonna try and ignore it. I really, really plan to do that, but the way I'm feeling right now, I'm gonna have an anxiety attack if I stay here. So I told them my mom was on the way, and they walked me out, and got home. I tried to go to sleep, and it just, those emotions, they were still there, and they were just getting worse and heavier, and just, so I got up, I went downstairs where I knew no one would hear me, and I just let it all out. And it was, you ever seen like the way someone cries after they hear a loved one has passed away? Like that really deep soul cry, like just so much pain. You can just hear the pain in the cry, in the person's cry. That was me on the floor, a mess, like laid out, face red and swollen, and just, it was really, really bad. And something in me just said, Kiani, why don't we just pray? Just pray. So I got on my knees and I just spoke, and I couldn't, like, for the first few minutes I couldn't even speak. Like, that's how upset I was, that's how much I was crying. But when I calmed down a little bit, I just talked to God as if he was sitting right in front of me, like as if I was with my best friend, just explaining everything. Even though I knew he knew what happened to me, I explained everything from the beginning. I explained the story of what happened and how it happened, and I talked about how I felt I was okay, and then I ran into him, and I'm not okay. And I just kept saying, like, I need you, Lord, I need you. I need you to help me heal from this. I need you to help me get over this. I want to recommit my life to you. Like, things like that. And I swear, like, maybe 2 minutes later, I felt just complete peace. Like, utter, total peace. Just kind of just like rushed through my body. And then I was able to calm down. Like, I felt so much better. And I just sat there and I was reflecting about my life. And I was just wondering, like, why is this the first time I'm praying about this? Like, why did it take me this long? Why did it take me running into the sky for me to talk to God about what I'm going through? And so I decided to change the way I was living. I asked, part of my prayer was asking God to help me find a nice church. Like, I had been going to churches, but I didn't really feel connected. Like, the members didn't seem that welcoming, and I wasn't really feeling like the lesson, the word, or whatever. So I was asking him to help me find a church home out there in Pennsylvania where I was going to school. And I told myself I was gonna go back to school after that break, and I was gonna list all the things I had resentment towards, all the people I had resentment towards, and just kind of give them up one by one so I could just kind of free myself a little bit. I felt so bonded. So that's what I did. I went back to school, and each day I sat down and I wrote, well, no, the first day I wrote down a whole list. I think there were a list of 10 things, people, events that I needed to forgive. So I wrote them all out, and then each day after that, I worked on something from the list. Everything from, like, family members who have wronged me, friends who have wronged me, whole situations like the assault, I don't know, just little things. So I worked on that, and that was really helpful, and I really recommend that to anyone who has gone through something really hard and they don't really know how to forgive or move on. Just kind of write about it and let all your thoughts out. Anyway, that same week that I got back, me and my boyfriend at the time were invited to a church. Now it's like 15 minutes from school. So she invited us to like a Bible study that they were having, and so we were like, okay, cool, we'll go. Like, we were both Christians, and so we went, and the people were so welcoming. They were so like overly nice that it felt fake. We laughed about that all the time. Like, this feels really fake, and it took us like 3 times of being there to realize, like, no, these people are just really genuinely nice and giving. Like, they were always trying to cook for us, and they were always inviting us over. Eventually we started going to their actual church services instead of just their Bible study, and we fell in love. We loved it. So we spent a few months there, and then there became this opportunity for baptisms, and my boyfriend at the time had not been baptized, and he really wanted to get baptized. And so I was thinking about it too. I'm like, I don't really know if people do this, like get baptized multiple times, but I'm really just feeling like this could be good for me to get rebaptized and just kind of wash away all the things I had gone through since my last baptism. I really felt I needed that, so that's what I did. I decided to do it, and part of their baptism was you had to get up there and you had to tell your testimony in front of everyone, and then you got baptized. And I was so nervous to tell my complete story, but I just knew how freeing it would be. So I did it. I did it, yeah. So we got baptized, and it was an amazingly freeing experience. That's something that I absolutely needed. So we spent about a year in that church. Was it a year? Almost a year. I'd say maybe like 9-10 months. I want to say about 8 months later, I'm still in a relationship with this guy, who, by the way, was pretty controlling. He was manipulative. He was very insecure, always trying to like go through my phone. He didn't like me being around other men. He didn't like it when I went home, so he didn't know what I was doing. He would get angry if I didn't text him back like right away. And when you're in these relationships, like in the moment, you're not really thinking like, this is crazy. Like, what have I gotten myself into? But it's not until after you reflect and it's like, that was a really bad situation and I'm glad I got out of it. But anyway, as time went on, he started to change. And I still don't really know what was happening with him, but his whole character changed to the point where there would be times where I just did not recognize who he was anymore. I would look in his eyes and it was not him in there. And even the way that he would talk to me sometimes, it just seemed like something had taken over him and it was no longer him. So I ended up getting sexually assaulted again. And this time it was him, my boyfriend at the time. As I said, something came over him. And I'm not making an excuse for him. I noticed a change in him a few weeks before he assaulted me. And I didn't know what to do. You know, I prayed about it. But it didn't help much. He was getting more angry with me. There was a point where I thought he was gonna hit me. He would be screaming in my face and just, he had some really weird behaviors. I don't know. I still don't know to this day. This is years ago. I still don't know what happened, but something snapped and it was not him. And he assaulted me. I ended up having to leave the school, also leaving that church. And I came back home to New York, where I continued going to the church where I met my best friends. And here I am. So I got back to this church, and I, as a member, like, it's weird. Like, I kind of grew up in the church, but I went to the church with my mom, who was a member, so I wasn't technically a member. So when you come back from college, or you become like a young adult and you're still in the church, you have to decide for yourself if you want to become a member. So I had to do that. And we have these membership classes. One of them is about spiritual gifts. So I took it and I had 3 main gifts that were pretty high in numbers. Like, I think they might have been, 2 of them were tied and the other one was higher than the others. One of them was pastoring, and I'm like, what? Like, I don't like talking about it because it scares me. But I've been learning that the gift of pastoring doesn't always mean you're going to be a pastor. It just means you have giftings and teaching and comforting and things like that. Just like shepherding, like guiding people the way they need to go. So pastoring was one, encouraging was another one. Like, I naturally encourage people, and when I looked back on my life and different experiences I've had with people, it made a lot of sense. There have been times where people are like, just like being around you, you just like kind of calm like calm me down. And I just like to talk to you about my life. Even if you don't say anything, it just makes me feel so much better. So different situations like that. And the last one, what was the last one? Faith. So just believing in God's ability to change things, or to carry out his promises no matter what the circumstances are. So now that people know my giftings and they know that pastoring is one, people have been talking to me about leadership roles, and I'm shook. All right, I'm rambling at this point. That was like a general overview of my testimony. I love sharing with other people. So if you have questions, like specific questions about things that I left out, things that I didn't go into detail about, definitely comment below and we will get connected and I'll tell you all about it. I'm an open book. I just know we don't have 2 hours for me to say every detail of my testimony. But I am definitely an example of someone who has been through the trenches, like been through so many traumatic things at such a young age. But I think it was my gift of faith that kept me going. Like, I was even suicidal at one point. I was cutting myself. I just felt so unheard. I felt like people didn't understand what I was going through. They didn't understand how to help me. And so I almost gave up, but I didn't. So if you or anyone you know are going through it, just pray if you're a prayer. Reach out to them. Just sit and listen to them. A lot of people will shy away from talking to someone that's going through a really hard time because they don't know what to say, but sometimes they just need you to just sit there, listen. If they ask you a question, answer. Hug them if they like being comforted. And check in. That really shows people that they're on your mind and that you care. Just like randomly checking in on them when they think that everyone has forgotten what they're going through. So this is gonna take me forever. I'm going to end this video right here. And I'll come back once it's done because I'm sure you guys want to see what my hair looks like underneath these braids. So, see you guys when I'm done. And this is the finished product. It took me probably about an hour, I'd say. An hour total to get all of those braids out. But I did it. So tomorrow I'm going to go and get my hair done for graduation, which is then on Friday. So again, thank you so much for tuning in to my chit chat video. Please comment down below and ask me personal questions. I'm an open book, as I said before. I would love to answer any of your questions about anything I said. Let me know if you have any similarities, any differences, any questions about the faith, about what I've been through, whatever. Leave it down below and I'll respond. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.